Yeah, I'm on a meeting. What's up? Wow. It's eight circles. Once everybody's joined, I'll open up the microphones and we'll start the meeting. Lee, I see that you're in the waiting room. I do not see your microphone icon on. If you look down the lower left corner, go ahead and click that icon just so I can see your microphone.
Okay. Am I in, Lyle?
You're in, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
I feel like the Brady Bunch.
True. We need some theme music, Lyle.
Rusty,
Hey,
I
Rusty.
see you.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to mute everybody until the meeting except for Lee.
Okay.
Lee, if you look in the lower left corner, you'll see the microphone icon. It should have a red slash through it. Go ahead and click on that. There you go. Lee, if you'll turn your microphone on, just say something so I know it works, please.
That works.
I got you. Okay, good.
Perfect. Thank you.
This is Louise.
Louise, are you joining us by phone?
Well, the link you sent isn't active for me. It's not active.
You might want to try it again. Everyone else seems to be on.
All right.
Have you downloaded Zoom, Louise?
Yeah, I'm on it every day. Yeah. Yeah. Usually I just press on the link, but the link is not, it's not active here. Let me try to,
I see Laura Catherine has joined. I've got everyone muted until the meeting, so we'll start shortly as soon as the mayor and Bob. Apparently the mayor and Bob are having some trouble joining us. We're going to give them a couple of minutes. All right, Mayor, I see that you've joined us.
Yeah, I have.
All right, I'm going to mute everybody until it starts. We're going to give Bob Weagle a minute.
Everybody hear me first of all. Says you're muted by host.
Yes, I'm waiting on Bob Weagle to join. I'm trying to help him over the phone.
Okay. Okay. Nobody can hear me though, right?
I can hear you.
He's got you unmuted.
Bob Weagle, are you on or can you hear me? Bob?
Laura Catherine, you look so engaged. That's a pretty smile.
Still trying to help Bob get connected through his cell phone. We're going to let him try a couple more times.
Most of the time I get a link that's hot and I just click on it. This time I had to put in the ID. I'm not sure why it was different.
Well, I had a different link, I guess, from some time before. I put it in there, and I was on there 10 minutes till, and wasn't getting anybody, so I had to go. But look at the link that I was using, and it was not the correct link.
I
It was the right
clicked the link
time.
from this afternoon and it worked fine. It was live. But
Well, I didn't use mine. I used mine from a couple of days ago, I guess.
So we're recording this as soon as everybody got in the waiting room. Just want to remind everybody.
Louise, I want to thank you so much for your neighborhood watch commitment. It's been great. It has been so good.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm going to make some comments about it in the meeting.
Bob, it looks like you may have joined. Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm on.
All right.
All right, I'm going to unmute the commission members. And I'll let you know once that's done. All right, I believe commission members, your mics are open. Mayor, it's all yours.
Well, thank you, Now, we have two other, and Bob is down in my bottom right. His cell phone number came up, and that's not there now, but there are two other ones on there that are not identified. Are those people from the public? Do you know?
The phone number ending in 6003, could you identify yourself, please?
Hi, yes, this is Dylan with Community Impact Newspaper.
Okay, I'm gonna put you back on.
Gotcha.
Phone number ending in 1260, could you identify yourself, please?
Mariella Hazelwood with Community Impact Newspaper.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, Mayor.
Now, Lyle, I can look up to the screen and I can't see where anybody is blocked right now. Would I not be able to see that?
I don't know on your end. I've got Larry, Laura Catherine, Lee, Chief, Vince, and the two phone calls muted.
Okay, I don't show them being muted, so that's okay. So I'll go ahead and start the meeting. Because of the governor's stay-at-home order due to COVID-19, all elected commission members and staff are not in the same room for today's meeting. Some are at City Hall performing essential service while others are staying at home. We are using an online meeting program using Zoom that allows for us to be in different places and participate as if we were all in the council chambers at City Hall. All of the requirements for the Tennessee Open Meeting Act are still in effect during this online meeting. We have been given the guidelines to follow in online meetings. Meeting rules for public comment. The Open Meetings Act requires that we allow the public to observe the meeting. It does not require the public to be given the opportunity to participate in the meeting. However, it is our policy that we will give the public opportunity to present comments in the commission at the beginning of our meeting. With that in mind, here are the guidelines for participating in the Zoom format. During the meeting, everyone will be muted, so any conversation on your part will not interrupt another person's presentation. On the bottom of your screen is a taskbar that has a number of icons to manage the meeting. It appears that when you move your mouse there, or on an iPad, it will be at the top of the screen using Windows 10, or on Android phone, this should appear at the bottom left. Or if you have some other device, you will need to experiment with the taskbar. There's a participant's icon in the middle of the taskbar that you can press, and it will show you who is present at the meeting. You may want to hover over your name and change it. If your name comes up as iPad so-and-so, or comes up as your spouse or your dog's name, we ask that you change it to a proper name. At the bottom of the participant's page is a blue raised hand. By pressing the raised hand, it will appear next to your name at the top of the participant's page. The raised hand will indicate you wish to speak. I will recognize you at the proper time and you will be unmuted. Online guidelines require that all participants give their name before speaking. All of us will be doing the same. For the record, please state your name and address, and we'll go from there like we've always done. When you speak, we expect good decorum. If in our opinion you vary from that, we will mute your microphone and ask that you behave appropriately or leave the meeting. We are recording this meeting and a copy will be placed hopefully on our website. Is that correct, Beth or Lyle?
That's not what we usually, well, that's not what we usually do, but we can start that.
Okay, we can decide that.
Mhm.
When we get to the public part of the agenda, I will remind everyone of the key principles that we've just stated. So with that, I would like for us to look at the agenda, and is there a flag? I had a flag up here, and I don't know what happened to it, but I'd like to do the pledge. Everybody think of a flag if they don't have one. Beth, you got one? You got one you can show? Okay, well.
I've got this little one.
You go.
Perfect, Beth. Great work. Recite after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag. To stand if you
United States of America.
To the republic
which stands
nations
under God,
indivisible,
With liberty and justice for
liberty
all.
and justice for all.
Wonderful. Thank you. With that, we will open the public comments portion. Anyone from the public would like to make any comments? We've got two with our local newspaper. Y'all have any comments?
Your mics are open.
No comment for me.
Okay, thank you. All right. If there are no more comments, we will close the public comments portion and open the meeting with the minutes of the meeting on March 18th. Do I hear a motion that they be approved?
Move that the
So moved.
minutes from the March 18th be approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor, may I make a suggestion that we have them announce their name?
The motioner and the seconder.
Yes.
And remember
Rusty
that
made the motion. Rusty made the motion. Who made the second?
Kathy.
Kathy? Kathy? Okay.
Yes.
And you also need to do a roll call vote.
if you do a roll call vote, remember that the person who made the motion and made the second also need to vote, because making that motion is not the same thing as voting. So
All right, so how do we do the roll call vote? Do we alphabetically, or how do we do that?
any way you want.
Thank you. Start up in my left-hand corner. Rusty Moore, say aye.
Aye.
Kathy?
Aye.
Louise?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Is that sufficient, Counselor?
The
Not a
chair votes aye, I assume.
What about, yeah. So.
All right, thank you.
Do you vote aye, Jim?
Pardon? Do I need to say aye?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye. Okay. With that, Larry Smith, Public Works.
Larry Smith, Public Works. Mr. Mayor, any questions or concerns on the report?
Larry, I had a question that came up as I walked the streets in the morning. Is there a guideline for how far fire mains are supposed to be apart, or how close they can be? Do you know?
I didn't understand your question. I'm sorry.
Fire hydrants. What is the rule on how far?
There is no set rule. I mean, the fire department, that's put in by Metro Water. I can find out from Metro Water what they place them, in throughout the city in intervals. There is no set distance.
Okay. Okay, then, I guess they look at the number of houses, the density or something too for that.
Yes, sir.
If there's some kind of guidelines, would you get that for me?
Yes, sir.
Anybody want to ask any questions of Larry on Public Works?
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Bob.
My question is about the pass turn signage that was put out, the 20 signs that were put out last week regarding the left lanes of Belle Meade Boulevard. I got an email from Rusty thanking me, and I think he sent it to Beth as well as the other commissioners for putting the throwaway signs, that was what I call them, those green and white signs that were put out down the boulevard.
Mm.
I wasn't aware of it, so I went out. First of all, I called Larry and asked him about it, and he told me where they were located, and so I rode out and looked at all of them. Anyway, to make a long story short, he thanked me and the other commissioners for approving putting these out. I double checked the minutes of last month's meeting, and we never approved putting those out.
Bob, these weren't, this was a very small allotment, $220. And I think that we all voted.
I'm not complaining, Jim, about the price of it.
But there was a notice sent out. Beth, you want to go ahead and talk about what was sent out?
I sent an email out to all the commissioners the day that Rusty called me and discussed this, and let the commissioners know that we were going to go ahead and do this since the price was right on the signs, and also that they can be reused. We'll keep them out for 7 to 10 days, take them down, and if things get bad again, we can easily install them back on the medians. But I did send an email out to all of the commissioners letting them know that this was going to be done.
Okay, I wasn't, well, if I got it, I erased it or something. But anyway, I'm gonna state my reasons for not liking it done that way. First of all, it looks like a yard sale sign, and I don't like the looks of it. You know, this last week and this week, all the shrubbery and the flowers and everything's in bloom, and then all of a sudden we have all these little green and white signs that look like a yard sale sign. And, first of all, I'm not against the law. I like the law, and I'm not anti making sure that people adhere to the law, but I just don't like those little signs.
I think we would understand that, but Rusty has some comments. I thought his reasoning for that was quite justified. Rusty, you want to?
Sure, thank you. Well, I think that, Bob, I respectfully disagree with you. I think the signs look very attractive for what their purpose is. But during this stay-at-home order, the boulevard is just packed. And I know you can see that from your front yard. But there are just people walking up and down, riding bikes every day. It's just gotten to be exponential. And so the idea here is to remind our citizens, because my experience is that they do not adhere to the signs that have been there for many years. And this was just an opportunity for us to have a little public notification campaign that, as Beth said, the intent is that they stay up 7 to 10 days, and then we take them down. And then if we need to do it again in the future, we have the signs. But that's the reason, is to create safety and remind people. We've got so many people coming up and down the boulevard, going to the park, that are not used to using it and may not know the rules. So that was the purpose, and I'm thrilled that we did it, and I think they look great.
Rusty,
well,
I agree.
I
agree. I think it also will assist and give the police department more authority to be writing citations. Right now is somewhat unclear. This way will help get those cars over out of that left lane, and I follow them and see how far they go, and some of them actually do turn, and some of them just keep on going. And so
there are people that go from one end of the boulevard to the other, just always in the wrong lane, and it just creates a hazard. And if we're going to have the rule, let's give the public notice that it's there, because the signs that we have are just not adequate.
Good. Bobby, any other comments, Bob?
Yeah, I'm against it. The reason being, we did this about 2 years ago. If you remember, Jim, I know you do, because you're president of Cheekwood when it happened. Cheekwood put up these logistics signs down the median, and they were taken down immediately because they weren't supposed to be put in there. And that's one thing. And then secondly, the whole problem with, in my opinion, with the left turn thing, especially the residents of Belle Meade, it's not enforced. The law is not enforced. And if you want to get this thing enforced, you need to talk to the chief about not waiting through. They wait 3 intersections before they'll pick somebody up, is what I was told. And
Yeah, but that's good. That's in the next report, but I do believe this is, and Louise, you want to, I want to make sure that you, I don't want to say support this, but because this is going to be part of the master plan.
Yes.
I agree, and that's the main reason we were going. Anyway, I guess it was thought about, but I'm sorry I didn't see the email that Beth sent out. But in my opinion, I don't remember hearing anything about it at last month's meeting. It certainly wasn't in the minutes. And,
No, again, Bob, it was an email. This is a short-term, reversible, inexpensive way to address additional pedestrian traffic during the COVID-19 pandemic emergency right now. I do think over time, the new transportation or master plan and the Series Society will look at other ways to let drivers know that the left-hand lane is specifically for passing and turning.
Well, maybe, I'm sorry I didn't see the email, but I'm sure it was sent out like you said it was. Again, it does, to me, it's not. It takes away from the beauty of the meeting. The people like the Serious Society and all the other people that work on that meeting that have made it to look like it. I don't like them. I mean, it's a little styrofoam throwaway.
I think your point's duly noted. I understand. I understand what you're saying. I understand.
But anyway, that's fine. That's my comment about the whole thing. And like I said, I'm all for putting it in the master plan, and I just didn't. I wasn't aware because I didn't see the email until the email that Beth put out about it. So I went out and I was kind of surprised when I saw those little signs sitting out there, and I went back to check my mind, check and see if I just missed something in the meeting. But and like I said, I did not miss the meeting. It wasn't in the meeting a minute. So, but Beth clarified it. So I guess I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Anything else for Larry on monthly report? Larry and Beth, we prepared. What do we consideration of bids for creek debris removal contract? I can't find that in my pages.
I emailed it today, and then Lyle's going to put it up on the screen. But first, Jim, can I ask you something?
Yes, ma'am.
When you move around as much as you are, your voice is fading in and out. If you could kind of stay in one spot when you're talking.
You know better than that.
Well, are you in a swivel chair?
No, but I'm standing, Beth. For those of you who do not know, I have been suffering with sciatica for the past 2 months, and the last 3 or 4 days it's gotten terrible where I can't sit down. And so I went to the doctor yesterday, got an MRI, got pinched nerve. I'm going to be going to get an epidural probably tomorrow. So I am, but I'm on my feet and I'm feeling pretty good right now. So I got some oxycodone that I'm taking after the meeting. Was told not to do that before the meeting because I'd go to sleep. So anyway, sorry, Beth.
Oh, that's okay.
Thank you for the. Well, it's cold out here too.
Lyle, do you have those documents?
There we go. Okay. Thank you.
I'll give you a second to read them if you haven't already seen the email.
I have the email from earlier today.
Okay.
It's 2 pages, so when you're ready for the second page, just let me know.
I'm ready. I can't see the bottom, I guess. It's just, here we go.
If I can see their estimate, is there a total? I know what we budgeted, but is there a total?
No, It's a contract that is based on a weekly progress.
Right.
We usually stop them about $7,000 or $8,000 before the maximum if they haven't finished before that. We'd like to keep money in the budget in case after they clean the creeks in the summer, the rest of the fiscal year, there may be some big trees that fall in the creek and that need to be taken out so that we've got money to pay for that. Larry has indicated that a lot of the creek beds are not as full as they usually are, so we're hoping they can finish a little bit in less time than they usually do. They usually work for 8 weeks in the summer. We're hoping maybe we can cut them back to 7 weeks since there's not quite as much in the creeks as there usually is. But there's no way to do a total because we just don't know how it's going to take them at their hourly rates.
Well, do we normally cap this at the budget amount or?
Oh, definitely. But we actually cut them off, like I said, about $7,000 or $8,000 before the top.
Okay.
So that we've got money for the rest of the fiscal year in case something else happens.
Okay.
Hey, Beth, do you recall what we spent last year? What the budget was?
It was $120,000 last year, and we stopped, I think, $6,000 short of that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just needed that point of reference. I don't have that info with me.
That was Laura Catherine.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm talking about myself in the future. Sorry.
I'm the only one moving around, I can see, so.
Are there any other questions?
Hey, would you like a motion for approval?
Yeah, but I got a question. Is this the one that this is the one that we get the monthly, I'll say invoice or something that says $17,000 or whatever this is? That's
right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is Laura Catherine. I want to clarify, this comes out of series budget, is that correct?
No, this is Public Works.
No, we'd break.
Oh, okay.
Break series in a year on this one.
Don't be spending all my money, Jim.
We're not gonna do that.
So basically we monitor this monthly.
Weekly, daily.
Weekly, daily.
They start,
okay.
yeah, they start usually in July when the creek beds are pretty dry and work through July and August. And by August, they're usually done. They've gone through, we've got a map of all the creek beds and the ones that are worst. We have them work on those first and work their way down to the ones that don't have quite as much debris. And then Larry, they're monitored daily, submit a weekly invoice to the city.
Larry, with all this rain, is that good or is that bad for the street cleaning?
As Kathy would know, I'm Larry. This year, usually we had this much rain, usually at Kathy's house in that edge. Usually it's so high and so bad, but this year, I'm surprised with this rain, it's less. Both of our spots under Bellmead Boulevard and over by Kathy is not bad at all this year. Now, again, we could have a couple of big storms and wash that full before we get done. And then we would have to do it. But yes, actually, it's in better shape this year than previous years.
Okay. Okay, with that, do I hear a motion for the?
A second, this is Louise.
Rusty, you made the motion, right? We were just doing questions,
Yeah,
right?
this is Rusty Moore. I'll make the motion that we approve JR and Associates for creek debris removal.
Louise Bryan seconds the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say name by their name, say aye.
Rusty Moore, aye.
Louise Bryan, aye.
Bob Weigel, aye.
Kathy, how about you?
Kathy's muted.
Kathy, you're muted.
She's muted.
Aye.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Kathy Altenburn, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
City services.
Yeah, this is Tim Eads, Police Chief for the City of Belle Meade. You all had a chance to look over the monthly reports. Or any questions?
I bet your mom has one or two.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I think there's a typographical error under the LPR. It shows for January and February. It shows a lot of hits there. I don't think that's correct. Of January and February of 2000. Correct?
Let me find it on my.
Yeah, that's definitely a typo. I'll get that cleared up.
Okay.
That was Vince.
Yes, that was Vince. And I'll get that cleared up and get the correct numbers to you.
Thank you.
Chief, as things seem, I know there was a concern with the quarantine and the recession and all, there might be a bit more activity, criminal activity. Have y'all seen any evidence of that yet?
In general, no. However, we'll be sending out some information. We took a report Monday. We had a forgery of checks, and then as the investigation continued, it was determined the mail was stolen out of a mailbox. We only have one case reported, but it's an old scheme where they remove the mail, go through it. If they find a check, they will wash it with a chemical, removing the payee and the amount, leaving the valid signature on the check. So that's under an active investigation. We will be arresting at least one person very soon, but the investigation is continuing. Like I said, we'll be putting out an alert through Neighborhood Watch after the meeting.
For people not to leave checks in their mailbox?
Yes, try to use the mailbox at City Hall. They appear to be, the scheme is if they see a red flag up, that's when they're going to be checking the mail. We've put out a broad description. They're using all kinds of vehicles. So, if you can pay online or at least deliver the mail to a secure postal box would be the preferred way to send a check through the mail.
Thank you.
I got a question about the detective's report.
Yes, sir.
Is this published with the police reports, Chief?
Hold on a second.
Is this just a general question? I'm not talking anything specific on it. Just that,
Okay.
Is this something that is? I mean, I realize that our agenda is available, but is it posted separately with your police reports?
Yeah, the ones where you see the case numbers, those should work in. They may not match some of the stuff. It depends. The new ones that come in, some of them that may be closed might have a different bearing, and then the other, like assisting other agencies, those may not have an exact. Those be a request for LPR checks or a request on somebody we've dealt with. But your corresponding, the ones with the case numbers, sometimes they may be a little off because it may be a follow-up on a previous case for information, if that makes any sense.
Well, as you know, Chief, there's a Neighborhood Watch has got this is a big item to them about what's going on in terms of their safety.
Yes, sir.
I would like to make sure that they are aware of this and that they're kept abreast of it. I think that's going to be a real concern as we move forward with the Neighborhood Watch.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. Anything else from Chief on his monthly reports? Chief, let's talk about Operation Blue Light.
Yes, sir, the program's going very well. We have, as of yesterday, and I checked this afternoon before the meeting, I've been sending a daily brief to city manager, assistant city manager, and the mayor. We have 10 active applicants. I am not aware of any requests for pickups as of yet. A lot of folks, you know, they wanted a safety net, and they've gotten one in us. We have encouraged them to use us if needed. So right now the applications, some of them come in email, some folks fill it out and drop it off at the dispatch. We're also tracking that information. So,
Chief, I've got, I'm taking all these reports I've been getting, and there are going to be some that you don't have. There may be another 20 or 30 that I'll get to.
Okay, yes, sir.
It won't be necessarily applications or people that we just got to put in the system. And then I think, don't you follow those up with an application? What is the process? When, I mean, I know that they got to put the application in. But
if you or another commissioner or someone sends information, we took a couple on Westview like that. And we made contact, dropped off an application using social distancing. When it was completed, they called us, sent an officer back out to pick the application up. They just lay it out on the porch or stick it in the door, and we'll come by and pick it up and get them down here and get them into the system.
Anybody have any questions about this? This has been really well received. I don't know, Louise, did you had any in your group that have indicated interest in this?
Well, I know there were 3 that we identified as vulnerable just on my the streets that I cover. So, Chief, are you saying that there are actually 10 responses thus far?
Yeah, 10 with application.
Yeah. 10. Okay, great. Wow, that's great. Okay.
That's good.
You know, there's that process. Application is the final part of the process,
right.
And you either accept or reject those. You rejected one application because it was not a resident. Is that correct too?
Yes, so they lived a few miles out of the city, but we did follow. We
Such
did
a
follow
good
up.
service.
Yeah,
nice try.
I did follow up. The gentleman completely understood, and I helped him identify some other resources that would get help to him. So he seemed to be pleased. He was disappointed he didn't live in Belle Meade, but you know, he was glad that we reached back out and just didn't say denied, no other comment. So.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Chief, you have anything else on the Operation Blue Light? Anybody else want to make any comments? I'd like to make some comments when you all are through on the Neighborhood Watch program. What's going on there?
I have 2 questions. Neither one of them relate to the blue light thing, but whenever you get through, Jim, I'd like to ask those questions.
Is it about Neighborhood Watch?
No.
Okay. Okay, I've got a little bit of information that I think that you all would be interested in. And Louise has been great in her role, not only of being a watch captain, but of appointing others. So we've got now 41 active watch captains. And we've just appointed 3 new ones today for the Belle Meade condominiums, the Glencourt, and then the Boulevard apartments. The Boulevard apartments are tenants and not residents, but the manager, that's owned by Barney Bird, who is a resident of Belle Meade, but he has a leasing agent, and the leasing agent has agreed to serve as watch captain and provide. They have a privacy thing on tenants. I mean, on tenants, but he's going to be distributing information within that complex. So we've really got pretty much the city covered. I was so pleased. I was surprised. I was a little bit alarmed to find out how outdated our data was. We've known that we weren't getting. We had people who weren't getting the email blasts, and people who maybe weren't getting certain things because they had not signed up. But we found out in doing this that we wanted to expand the program to include spouses and primarily cell phone numbers in addition to email addresses, so that we can, and we've, I think, done an exceptional job of that. We've got almost every person in Belle Meade cell phone number out, and it's been incredible how we've gone through this process. And it's been a lot of people working really hard to get this done. It doesn't just come automatically. Some don't want to give their cell phone numbers. We tell them that cell phone is for emergency use, and some neighborhoods already do this. We are asking all of them to be sent by line copy, and that they don't get hacked, so they would find all that information on those residents through that. So there is a privacy aspect to all this. We've got 81 streets, condominiums, apartments, or divided streets. So Belle Meade Boulevard has like 4 watch captains. Jackson has 3. Linwood has 4 or 5. Westview has several. Does everybody know where Valley Forge is? One of our streets. Raise your hand if you know where Valley Forge is. All right, Kathy. Well, you can't do that. Rusty.
I'll raise my hand like that.
Valley Forge is in Sugar Tree. I think there are 5 residents in Sugar Tree that are part of Belle Meade. Don't ask me anything else about that.
Mayor,
It's where Walnut dead ends.
Mayor, could I get you to direct your voice more to the microphone? Because
okay, well, I'm not moving, but I am. I mean, my body's moving, but I'm not. My feet aren't moving. But the microphone is right in front of me here. The people are looking at you over here to my right on the second monitor. So I'll just look this way. Okay, how about that?
That's better.
Much better.
Much better.
Sorry. I've got an omnidirectional mic, but I was afraid to set it up today that it wouldn't work. Okay. So, anyone have any questions on the neighborhood watch? We last night just kicked off the finding out how people were actually going to be, what device they were using to send this information. Did they have a distribution list, or were they cut and pasting? Asking a lot of questions about how they were managing their part of the program. And I got almost all those back today. We've got some information that's going to be sent out right after the meeting, as Chief just said. It's going to be on a bolo on this mail fraud. But we're going to try to send something out once a week through this system. The police report's going to be part of this. And we don't want to overburden the watch captain, nor do we want to overcome other ways of communicating, but this has got to be a really good way to communicate. But I think more importantly, we've actually updated our data tremendously. So that should be work in the long run, very positive for us. We've got a lot of new residents that have, when I say new residents, the past 5 years who've not been on the list. We've got a lot of residents who've been gone 5 years are still on the list. So those are all coming off and going on, and then people who don't have emails, we're locating them. We're making sure that they are receiving information from the watch captain, be it in their mailbox, through mail, or through meeting one-on-one. That's really all I've got. If y'all have any questions about what's going on in Neighborhood Watch. All right, with that, Larry, Health and Sanitation, Larry Smith.
Hey, Jim, let me ask those 2 questions to the chief
Bob.
first. One is a question. Are we having traffic court now? Are we suspended it this month or what?
Yes, sir. It's been rescheduled out in the future. All folks that had not paid a ticket and were expecting a court date were mailed out notices 2 weeks ago. Beth may be able to speak a little more in depth, but I know the court clerk worked very hard to get all the information mailed out.
I'm looking at the court clerk's monthly. No, by the way, nobody ever presents this sheet, and I don't know who's supposed to present it. Are you to do that, Chief, or what? I don't know. I'm looking at the bottom line. Talks about the gross receipts of the policemen, and in other words, since we don't have traffic court, are they getting these this money as they stop the people, or how does that money appear in the coffers?
I can answer that, Bob. These are tickets that people got previously several months ago that they're paying. We have an online payment portal on our website. They're mailing checks in. Now, in a couple months, because right now we're not issuing that many tickets, we're not making as many traffic stops. A couple months from now, you'll see the bottom line of this decrease. But right now, these are tickets that were issued earlier this year that they're paying now.
In other words, the police do not give a citation and ask for the money now. They're not doing it. Okay.
If they do, they're not telling us about it.
No, because everyone that gets a ticket has an opportunity to come to court. They don't have to pay right away. So they can come to court if they want to.
Should that be renamed then instead of police receipts deposited? I don't know.
No,
it's kind of confusing.
It is all in the police department's fund. I mean, their account for revenue. It is the department's revenue.
All right. Well, I didn't know, but anyway, I didn't think we had court, but
no, it's been postponed.
That'd be about, we'd have too many people sitting next to each other and all that stuff. Then the next question for the chief, it's a request. Getting back to that left lane thing, since we have 20 new signs and we have 14 existing signs, and people still may not see them, please write an article in the Newsweek about the law so people understand what the law is as far as the left lane of Belle Boulevard. I would appreciate it. Maybe the newsletter would be good. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll have it in there next edition.
That's all I got.
We got some folks
Thank you very much.
From a newspaper that could do that too.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Good readership.
Dylan, that could be maybe transportation update.
Say again?
I was asking Dylan, the report might be able to be a transportation update.
Yeah.
Night covered.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
If you want to make any comments, and you all know that there was a fire, a very serious fire on Middle Race yesterday. A new home it was a relatively new home destroyed. Lyle, you know anything about that?
I do. I talked to Ethan Coleclauser, who's the owner, builder, and apparently the fire started on the lower level in the basement area. They have a kitchen down there. They're not sure if it started in the kitchen or from the grill from the night before, but apparently the fire was so hot just in 25 minutes that it melted the washer and dryer on the third floor. The light switches in the house were dripping down the walls. Looks like it's going to be a total loss as far as the possessions. The smoke damage is just too much. As I talked to Ethan yesterday, they're looking for a place to live, and they're talking to the insurance company about whether to just totally replace the home or see how much smoke damage is involved, that sort of thing, and take it from there.
The Neighborhood Watch has put out notices. They're collecting blankets and doing everything they can, and it just shows that this is a great community that people just know about it. They've been very helpful. Police have been involved, and so I appreciate the community support on that too, because it was. So when did he move into the house, Lyle?
I want to say it was I think it was just after Christmas.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Larry, I think we were talking with you, weren't we? Weren't you the last time?
Larry Smith.
Anything else from Larry on health and sanitation? with that, we'll close that, and Lyle, talk about the building, zoning, planning, and anything else you want to talk about that you don't take too long on.
Well, I'll give you a brief update on the meeting we had yesterday. We had the Historic Zoning Commission, and we actually had 30 participants, and it went really well. We had 6 agenda items, and due to the hard work of the commission, only 1 was approved. Some of the other ones, we had some poor design, poor ratio and scaling, that sort of thing, and basically sent them back to the drawing board. So they're really stepping up and doing a great job. And I think eventually when permits, you're going to see some really nice homes built courtesy of the commission doing their great job.
I think you made a comment, whether it was official or not, but you made that those houses would have probably been approved without the HZC.
Yes, they would have. All 6 would have come in here and could have gotten a permit, would have bypassed the Board of Zoning Appeal. Of course, the Board of Zoning Appeal just looks at violations for setbacks and pools and things like that. And this historic zoning is really looking at more of the design aspect as far as integrity and in keeping with Belle Meade. So it's a good thing that this has been put in place.
Well, and I don't know what to say. I think that's wonderful news, but I just wonder how many houses have crept through this thing in the past 3 or 4 years without the HZC. I'm not asking for any numbers.
No, there's been several.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey Jim, are they grandfathered in?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't think Lyle would live another day if he had to go out there and tell somebody they couldn't. Had to move their house, just house mover. Yeah.
Moving on to the building permits, you've got the reports there. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Lyle, looks like business has slowed down a little bit in the permit department.
It has. If you notice on page 31, we got the total permits from last year compared to this year, and you're still having, you know, permits for remodeling, additions, things like that are still coming in strong. I'm able to do those through email. I'm actually able to sign the permits and email it back. I think the deficit due to people coming to historic zoning, that will eventually catch up as long as these architects and builders present a good house that's worthy of need. That number will be caught up.
Mm-hmm. Have you noticed any slowdown as far as the actual construction, actual work being done, like it has in other industries? I mean, I can't imagine it because it's spread out enough, I would think, on homes. Am I correct?
You are correct. I took a cursory ride, I guess the end of last week, maybe the first of this week, and there's a lot of building still going on in the city. It hasn't slowed anything down as far as that goes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good news. That's all I got, Lyle. Thank you.
Belle Meade Club progressing? Oh.
It is.
Okay. That's a
so is St. George as well. Everybody has just worked right through this.
Okay, good. Anything else for Lyle? Lyle, you're doing a great job with Zoom, and you found that's worked well.
Yeah, it's coming along really well, better than I expected.
There are actually some advantages to it, right?
There is.
You want to describe some of those that you've gone through with HZC about the plans?
Well, I'm able to share the plans on the screen like I shared this document with you. You can also annotate the plans, call attention to, say, a chimney or staircase or whatever to direct everyone's attention to that. I can actually release control of the screen to someone else. We actually had an architect yesterday do his own presentation, and he had a PowerPoint presentation, his own plans that he was able to show, which made it easier for us to understand. So that in that aspect, it's been almost better than actually a public meeting, in-person public meeting.
I think so, because the plans are a lot clearer. Everybody can see them. You can get close to them, and rather than spreading them out on the table or something too. So it seems to be very effective. All right, Lyle, thank you.
You're welcome.
Waste collection, request to extend the solid waste recycle contract. I don't know, Larry, do you want to talk about this, or Beth?
Larry and I can answer any questions if you have them. I assume everyone's read the memo. This is the first extension under this contract. We've had Franklin Disposal now for 3 years. And I think everyone would agree, at least on the staff side, that they've done a great job. They do an awful lot for the residents and for us, above and beyond the actual contract requirements. So I'd like for y'all to take that into consideration when you're looking at this requested increase.
Larry, you mentioned something to me this morning about the during this period of people being stuck in their homes, the trash has been a larger trash collection than normal. What's Ray? What's he saying about this?
Mr. Mayor, it has been a large increase where normally homes would have, we allow 3 32-gallon containers. Some homes are having 4, some homes are having up to 5. And Ray's trying to be courteous with that, but I mean, we're also trying to hold it to the 3, but they're picking up a lot of it if it's not way abundant.
Mm-hmm.
And they've gone way above and beyond. And right now, also, we have the cardboard dumpster, but still the amount of cardboard that they're picking up out in the city is just astronomical because everybody's getting packages. Everybody's getting stuff shipped. So that also has picked up. So it's they're doing almost twice as much cardboard as what they were.
Larry, are there a lot of requests, or Ray making a lot of requests, people not breaking down their cardboard?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get multiple complaints on a week, probably 3 to 4 a week, that I have to call homeowners for super large boxes, or even have to ask them to bring them if they could bring them down to the dumpsters, because there's more than what Ray can pick up. We do have.
What does he do? What does he do if there's a relatively small amount of cardboard at somebody's home? Does he bring it down to the?
No, they go ahead and pick it up. They have a recycle truck. It goes on the truck. It's just the larger amounts. If they got the large amount at everybody's house, then what would happen is they would not have room for the rest of the city. So we hold it to a certain small amount at each home, and most homes have adhered to that. We have a few that put out much, or not break anything down.
Well, let's make sure we stay out in front of this and communicate this within the newsletter about cardboard. It's ridiculous that people leave out was it a ping pong table
box? Yes, sir.
Yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is Ray looking for additional compensation here?
Not at this time. He's not asking for anything right now. No. Okay.
I mean, that's what I was thinking with all this, with what's going on with his trash collection, and I've had no complaints. I don't know if you all have been hearing other commissioners hearing any complaints on trash collection, but that's a tough job.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
They do a great job.
And he likes Belle Meade, right? I mean, he likes what he's doing here.
Yes, sir.
So do we need a motion to approve the recommendation to accept Franklin Disposal as presented? I'll move that.
I make the motion. I make the motion to approve Franklin for the extension.
Bob Weigel makes the motion. Kathy, you make the second?
Kathy, second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye, beginning with Rusty.
Rusty Moore, aye.
Louise Bryant,
Kathy
aye.
Altenburn.
Sorry.
Kathy Altenburn, aye.
Bob Weigel, aye.
Louise,
Louise Bryan, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye. The extension for the solid waste contract passes.
Thank you.
Laura Catherine.
Yes, hello. So this is Laura Catherine Wood, head of beautification, and we sent out the letters for beautification. I'm going to tell you we're in a time warp. Beth, do you remember how many weeks ago it was?
We met on the 10th, and I think they went out like 2 days after that. So it was that week of March 10th.
Okay, perfect. So what I've done is run numbers from last year at a month in and then last year at today's date. And right now we have 44,550 donations. That's as of,
Got more. It's actually more right now. As of yesterday's deposit, it's 46,900.
awesome, 46,900. Woohoo! Thanks, Beth. So we have last year at this date, we were at 23,675. So that's quite a big increase, but we sent the letters out later. So 4 weeks from or I should say at the end of April, so that would be 1 month from when they were out, we were at 58,000. So we are a little behind in that. So, but again, I think with the economy right now and things are a little up in the air, I would expect our donations to be a little slower to come in. However, with that said, I'm really excited with what we've got so far. We, since we have a new logo, we're going to have new stationery. And so we're ordering that this week. And once that happens, I will be sending out thank you notes to each individual donor. I'd like to thank our commissioners that have donated. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your generosity. The other thing is that we are scheduled to meet in May. And so April was already a month that we were not meeting, since we meet bi-monthly. So, or yeah, bi-monthly. So we will just wait and see where we are with gathering. If we need to do a Zoom, that's fine. We have postponed. We had one subcommittee meeting for the garden parties, but we couldn't have the garden party if we wanted to. So that's just been put on hold until we sort of know where we are with being able to gather together and have people together in one single area. So that is where we are. Are there any questions?
All right, well, let's go back and look at this estimate for spring, summer annual installation.
Yes.
You have any?
I do not have it in front of me, no.
All right, well, you've got landscape services, their annuals, $8,600, miscellaneous supplies, $912, and installation, $4,425, and National Landscape Systems. Who is that National Landscape Systems? Who is the principal?
Gail Higgs.
That's Gail's. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yes, sir.
8864, 1214, and 4306. So LSI has been much more present than Gail for that kind of thing. So, and you all are recommending LSI for that?
Yes, based on their experience and the fact that they're, over $400 less than Nashville Landscape. So
pretty close.
it is.
Yes, but LSI has been doing this for so many years for us, and so yeah.
That's
so,
a good
Laura
point.
Catherine, you're suggesting that we do. You're in the loop now for making a recommendation for these type of things. I want to make sure that we make sure that you are making the recommendations to us. So, good.
Is that who you want, Laura Catherine, LSI?
Yes, I think LSI, if it's a minimal difference like $400, and to go with someone who has been doing this for so long, we are happy with that. I think right now
Laura Catherine, they're less anyway.
They're what?
They're less by 400.
Oh, well
Yes.
then, even better, yes.
Yeah.
Is there,
Thank
is
you.
there,
I didn't
is
get
there a
that. I thought there
motion?
were 400 more.
Sorry.
Is there a
So,
motion to accept, to approve LSI for the installation spring, summer annuals?
yes, I will make a motion that we approve LSI for planning the spring, summer annuals. Trustee Moore.
Is there a
Louise
second?
Bryan, I second.
Louise Bryan, second. With that, we'll go to the vote. All in
Trustee
favor?
Moore, aye.
Aye.
Kathy Altenburn, aye.
Louise Bryan, aye.
Bob,
Bob Wiggle, aye.
Jim
Bob
Hunt.
Wiggle, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye. You don't get one vote, Bob.
I had a question with the series. I mean, maybe it's just a recommendation for Laura Catherine.
Yeah.
Since the letters came right about the time we were on lockdown, I mean, we might want to revisit and send some targeted reminders, maybe,
Absolutely.
just for people that typically would pay, because people was so distracted right when all this was coming together.
I
Just a
agree.
suggestion.
We're going to revisit that in our May meeting. I think absolutely. We had even talked about maybe sort of doing a final push the last 2 weeks of the original month or whatever, with yard signs and text to give and that kind of thing. And I think we're just really kind of waiting to see when we can meet again in that. But I 100% agree. And then also, we have had to halt our new resident packet. That's been on hold since the beginning of the year, just because we did it in January, but anyway, it's been on hold because we can't really go to people's houses. And so, but that usually sparks a donation from almost every one of the recipients. And that can be quite a cash flow when we're looking at a number of months. At this point, it would have been from January to April and looking like May. So that's 5 months. I don't know the stats on if people's home buyings have, slowed down or moves or whatever, but that's another revenue generator that sort of keeps donations coming in throughout the year.
Laura Catherine, let's you and I get together and talk about how Neighborhood Watch can assist with this process, because they're going to be keeping up with all the new people coming into the neighborhood, and it will be probably faster than anything we are currently doing.
That's a great idea, Jim. I would love to get with the neighborhood watch captains and introduce myself to the ones I don't know and say, please let me know when you have somebody who's moved in, because we are doing the welcome packet. So I'd love that.
Laura, I think that as soon as this blows over and we can meet together, that we'll have a welcoming meeting for all the watch captains.
Okay.
Together, and that'll be a great time to announce this too.
That'd be great. And if it's okay, I'd love to be included just to introduce myself so I could start to build a relationship with them as well.
Great.
Okay. Could I, in the meantime, get the names of the neighborhood watch captains? Is that from you or Beth or Louise? Just so I can reach out.
From me.
From you. Okay. Jim, would you send me that, please?
It's confidential. You got to treat it like it's really, really. No, just.
I think I've proven myself trustworthy in that. I absolutely will.
All right, we still have a motion that hadn't been voted upon. That was the estimates for spring, summer. We've already had the 5 people, everybody voted. We just didn't say approved. All votes have been registered and counted, and with that, all in favor, we've all said in favor, say aye. So it passed.
It did.
All right. Okay. Okay. OLK.
Yes, sir.
Okay. City communications, no matters. Lee, financial statements, March.
Yes. Bell's Finance Director. You have the financials in your packet, and didn't know if anyone had any questions. Just as a reminder, because this is a quarter-end financial statement, you have the State Street Aid and the beautification financials in there.
So I don't receive the beautification numbers. I know we don't have any fiscal responsibility, but I'd love to have an insight into that. Would you, is that something you could send me, Lee?
Sure.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I
email
know
you.
the donors, but I don't really get an quarterly expenses, and I would appreciate that very much.
Certainly. I'm glad to do it.
Thank you.
Lee, this is Bob. I got a question about the capital budget report.
Yes.
Stormwater. What does that mean? Is that 15,000 going to be spent in this fiscal year, or do you know?
Oh, I see it over here to the side. No, Beth, are we planning? That was kind of there when I started. I'm not sure if it's set aside for a certain project at the end of the year.
It is. It's a condition assessment. And Larry, remind me, has Steve already done that? Steve Casey?
They are in the process of finishing that up as we speak. So it should be pretty close. They met.
So they probably billing us in the next month or two then?
Yes, sir.
For the end of the, yes.
End of the fiscal year, yes, sir.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. And we spend a little bit less on street paving than about 30,000 less or so. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yes, it did come in less.
Okay.
All
right.
That the governor has allocated $200 million for distribution to cities and counties throughout Tennessee. And Belle Meade, as proportional, will receive $93,579 sometime after July 1st of this year. And it's to be used for infrastructure and safety obligations.
Beth, have you got an idea where we can put that?
No,
I don't have any specific idea, but we won't have any problem allocating that at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Sounds good. I like it.
I was surprised. I don't think that we were expecting that. No, Beth just sent me something this afternoon right before the meeting about CARES Act, that thinking that we might get something from that. It looks like that you have to have a population of 500,000.
Jim, you need to speak into your microphone.
Well, I don't know where the microphone is. Is that close enough?
No.
Down here at the bottom.
Yes.
There you are.
Oh, it's down the bottom. I wonder. Okay. I'll have an omnidirectional mic next time. Because I got so much stuff up here. I got a green screen behind me. I got monitors all over the place, and I got a crappy microphone. Okay, sorry about that. All right, where are we? Let's see. Just so y'all will know, Nashville Metro Davidson County receives $14,794,97, and we receive 93,000. I'm guessing there could be, I wonder if there's any leeway in there for us to get any of that metro money. But anyway, I'm a little greedy right now. Berry Hill got 41,000 to our 93. Forest Hill's got 137,000. Oak Hill 130,000, and Goodlettsville got 402,000. So that gives you an idea of where Belle Meade is in this pecking order. But I would say that any infrastructure is pretty much anything. Any capital expense would be infrastructure, I would guess, and then the safety is going to come. Well, we can maybe use some of that in the master plan. So we'll have to see how these numbers fall out. But again, it's 93,000. We probably were not expecting, I guess. The CARES Act, I was talking about the CARES Act. 500,000. I'm using right. It's 500,000 people for any county that is greater than 500, or city greater than 500,000 would be eligible for the CARES Act. Since we, though, are a part of that metro part, we might be able to figure out some way. So we really are a part. We pay metro taxes. We pay a lot of things that might make us more a part of this than CARES Act thinks we are. So, any
Jim,
questions?
how does the state? Yeah, Jim, how does the state come up with the percentages? Is it done on a square mileage?
No.
How do they come up with the percentage?
The percentages for the 96,000?
Yeah.
It's per capita. It's per capita.
Per capita.
Per capita.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why Shelby or Memphis got more than we did, but at the same time, I mean, more than Nashville did, but it does look like a per cap, right? Okay.
It is.
Okay.
All right. You've got approval for invoices over 5,000. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I missing one?
There's 4.
4.
There are
Okay.
4.
All right. Commonwealth Chemical, 12,320. KCI Technologies, excuse me. 16,180. That's for the. Beth, go back and review again what is included in that. I know it says here that, but at what point are we with? Are we done with KCI, or are we just starting? What is this?
This is for the design of the bid documents.
Mm-hmm.
It's that part of the project. So we are pretty much at the tail end of that. We had a lot of back and forth with KCI and Metro because of the requirements for the signals and the poles. So we had to revise the plans that KCI drew to accommodate that. So we're ready to prepare bid documents now, put it out for bid, and I'm hoping that we'll have everything back so that we can vote on this at the May meeting. That's my plan.
Good.
Now that we've got the final bid documents done, completed by KCI.
Okay. We have Wascon for 99.80. Wascon for 54.15.26. Do I hear a motion for approval?
Kathy Altenburn moved for approval as presented.
4 seconds.
Rusty Moore for a second. We got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye by name.
Rusty Moore, aye.
Louise Bryan, aye.
Kathy Altenburn, aye.
Bob Weigel, aye.
Jim Hunt, aye. Passes. Thank you. Approved, I should say. Facilities, no matters. Personnel, no matters. And the ordinance legislation, ordinance 2019-11, an ordinance to amend Title 12 of the Belle Meade Municipal Code and add a new chapter 5 thereto, adopting building regulations for the management and protection of trees. On the second reading, this was deferred in March for 60 days. So that would make this still under deferment. Is a vote in favor, or is that a vote opposed? So we don't need to take any action there. That's just for information.
Correct.
Do you have any questions about the reporting of this meeting?
Mayor, we're still having trouble hearing you.
I'm going to get that microphone out. But what happened is I've got a monitor that in order for me to stand up, I've got to tilt the monitor up, put it on a piece of cardboard.
Well, we're at the end of the agenda. It's okay.
I'm trying to make excuses. I sit down. If I can sit down, that'd be all right, but I can't sit down. So, how about that?
That's good.
All right. If there's no other matters, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, we did it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We did it.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I'm looking at this over here now, and I'm looking over here, so.
All right, I'm closing the meeting down.
Bye.